looking at a couple different factors. The 90% accuracy is actually people that hit the certain factors that they.
It's like how my family used to gather, like at the end of the day, how we used to talk. My home was like a normal home, the simple daily details that everyone has.
Hiba lived here in northern Gaza. Her family evacuated on October 11th, 2023. By February, she learned her home was no longer there. She talked to me from a friend's home in Rafah in southern Gaza.
We received a picture of our house and we weren't shocked. We had down there like a place where we have trees, we have flowers planted.
Hiba didn't know exactly why her home had been destroyed. But over the past few months, Israeli journalists have found that much of the destruction in Gaza since the attacks of October 7th has been enabled and often directed by an artificial intelligence system.
The promise of AI generally is a promise in two respects. One is swiftness and the second is accuracy.
The whole dream of AI is that it would offer these precision strikes.
But after over 34,000 Palestinians killed, compared to just over 1,400 in Israel's 2014 war in Gaza, it's clear something different is happening. So what does AI have to do with it? To get some answers, we called a couple of AI experts, reporters, and investigative journalists.
I've mentioned this before. The AI in this situation, no matter what Vox says, is to offer moral culpability or any kind of culpability. Is to take away the culpability from the hands of like those who are doing the bombings. It's another way to streamline the process, certainly. But it also is to say like, oh, well, we did our best, but like, what can we do? The machine actually told us to blow it up. It also works in the other direction where you can be infinitely more violent. It is exculpatory.
The Israeli Defense Forces' use of AI is not new.
I think that the most famous use of AI by the IDF is, of course, the Iron Dome, which is a defensive system that aims to disrupt the threat of missile attacks.
This system is partly what defended Israel against Iran's drone and missile attacks in April 2024.
The other one is another homegrown weapon that they have called the Smash from Smart Shooter, which is an AI precision assault rifle sight that you add on to handheld weapons. And what it does is it uses advanced image processing algorithms to hone in on a target.
Damn, bro, they can fucking catch you looking Palestinian from a mile away, dude. That's insane. It has auto aim trained exclusively for Muslims. Auto aim working exclusively for Muslim children, okay? It's like, listen, you guys don't understand. This is Aimbot 360, our latest version of this AR platform targeting capabilities are phenomenal. As you can see, there's a terror baby. This terror baby is 14 years old. As you can see, the terror baby is probably walking, thinking about Adolf Hitler. Now notice how fast we can target the terror baby in a crowd.
Sort of like an auto aim in Call of Duty.
Another way Israel uses AI is through surveillance of Palestinians in the occupied territories.
Every time they pass through one of the hundreds of checkpoints, their movements are being registered. Their facial images and other biometrics are being matched against a database.
You sound like Frenchie from The Boys. Isn't Frenchie literally Israeli too? Or is he Algerian? Yes, he was in the IDF. There you go. So, turns out, maybe my accent isn't as bad as you think it is.
But we're now learning more about the AI systems that choose bombing targets in Gaza from two reports in the Israeli publications 972 and Local Call. Gospel is a system that produces bombing targets for specific buildings and structures in Gaza.
You mean the actor or the character? No, the character he's playing is an Algerian French character, but the actor himself is actually an Israeli actor who apparently served in the IDF and is like a rabid Zionist, is what people were saying.
Gaza. It does this by working in conjunction with other AI tools. And like any AI system, the first step is the large-scale collection of data. In this case, surveillance and historical data on Palestinians and militant locations in Gaza.
The most famous application will be the Alchemist, which is a platform that collects data and allows the transfer of data between different departments, later being transferred to another platform, which is called the Fire Factory. The Fire Factory observes the data and categorizes it.
The generated targets are generally put into one of four categories. First, tactical targets, which usually include armed militant cells, weapons warehouses, launchers, and militant headquarters. Then there are underground targets, primarily tunnels under civilian homes. The third category includes the family homes of Hamas or Islamic Jihad operatives. And the last category includes targets that are not obviously military in nature, particularly residential and high-rise buildings with dozens of civilians. The IDF calls these power targets. Once the data is organized, it goes through a third layer called the gospel.
The gospel creates an output which suggests specific possible targets, possible munitions, warnings of possible collateral damage, and etc.
This system produces targets in Gaza faster than a human can. And within the first 5 days of the war, half of all the targets identified were from the power targets category. Multiple sources who spoke to 972 reported that the idea behind power targets is to exert civil pressure on Hamas. Heba's home was most likely one of the power targets picked up by the gospel system. Months after the gospel investigation, 972 also surfaced a more opaque and secretive AI system built for targeting specific people, known as Lavender. As the Israel-Hamas war began, Lavender used historic data and surveillance to generate as many as 37,000 Hamas and Islamic Jihad targets. Sources told 972 that about 10% of those targets are often wrong. But even when determining the 90% of supposedly correct targets, Israel also expanded the definition of a Hamas operative for the first time.
The thing is, Hamas ultimately runs the Gaza Strip, so you have a lot of civil society that interacts with Hamas. Police force, doctors, civil society in general.
It's worse than that, too. It's worse than that. I hope they mentioned this part, because the targeting, the way that they populate this list of likely Hamas members or likely militants, basically, is looking at a couple different factors. The 90% accuracy is actually people that hit the certain factors that they have. Like, for example, if you change your phone numbers frequently, if you actually change your address frequently, if you live in different areas, things that Palestinians absolutely have to do on a regular fucking basis. Melon raid? Wait, what do you mean? What, Melon was streaming today? So even the 90% accuracy number actually is like, the 90% accuracy number is also already biased. Wait, did he actually review the Macklemore song? Oh, God. What did he think about it? He covered the Macklemore song? Here, I'll do it after this. He liked it? Oh, God. He said it was fire. Okay, well, I'm uncompromising as a new music listener. I'm uncompromising in my values. I think the message is great. I like Macklemore. I think he's phenomenal for doing such a wonderful thing. But if you like ask me if this is like a banger, I will never tell you that this is a banger. Okay, it's cringe. It's for a good cause, but it's cringe. You gave it an 8 out of 10. No, he didn't.
And so these are the targets that we know that they're looking at.
After Lavender used its data to generate these targets, AI would then link the target to a specific family home, and then recommend a weapon for the IDF to use on the target, mostly depending on the ranking of the operative.
What we were told is that for low-ranking Hamas militants, the army preferred to use dumb bombs, meaning bombs that are not guided, because they are cheaper. So in a strange way, the less of a danger you pose, then they used less sophisticated bombs, and therefore maybe creating more collateral damage.
Sources told reporters that for every junior Hamas operative that Lavender marked, it was permissible to kill up to 15 or 20 civilians, but also that for some targets, the number of permissible civilian casualties was as high as 300.
في موجود في العمارة كل يوم بيبقوا هنا يمكن فوق ال 20 طفل.
AI systems do not produce facts. They only produce prediction, just like a weather forecast or the stock market.
The intelligence that's there is completely dependent on the quality, the validity, the understanding of the humans who created the system.
In a statement to The Guardian, the IDF outright rejected that they had any policy to kill tens of thousands of people in their homes, and stressed that human analysts must conduct independent examinations before a target is selected. Which brings us to the last step of both of these processes, human approval. Sources told 972 that the only human supervision protocol in place before bombing the houses of suspected junior militants marked by Lavender was to conduct a single check, ensuring that the AI selected target is male rather than female.
Experts have been telling us that essentially what's happening in Gaza is an unwilling test site for future AI technologies.
Did they not even mention Where's Daddy? Which is another part of the, it's not a part of the AI targeting specifically, but Where's Daddy is the second part of the Lavender targeting protocol that like, oh, they mentioned it? Okay, I missed it. Where's Daddy, for those of you who don't know, is the second part of the targeting protocol that literally will time the strikes deliberately when the suspected militant actually arrives home. When the suspected militant actually arrives home, it will automatically alert the drone operatives to bomb the entire fucking building. Where is Daddy is what it's called. You know, so you can definitely ensure that you killed the militant and the entire family of the militant, the daddy and the daughter and the sons.
In November 2023, the US released an international framework for the responsible use of AI in war.
More than 50 signatures from 50 different countries. Israel has not signed on to this treaty.
So we're in sort of this space where we lack sufficient oversight and accountability for drone warfare, let alone new systems being introduced like Gospel and Lavender. And we're looking at a future really where there is going to be more imprecise and biased automation of targets that make these civilian casualties much worse.
The fallacy of, the premise that faster warfighting is somehow going to lead to global security and peace. I mean, this is just not the path that's going to get us there. And on the contrary, I think a lot of these, the momentum of these technological initiatives needs to be interrupted in whatever ways we can.
It really aches my heart that these moments are never going to be back. It's not like I left home and like, for example, I traveled and like, I know it's there. No, it's not. It's not there anymore.
I guess Where's Waldo was copyrighted. It's not about that, chatter. It's about killing children.